what we also study is scotomas, S-C-A-T-O-M-A-S, scotomas. And this is a part of your reality that you live in that you may or may not be able to see. And I'd like to suggest that in this reality, they've created dimensionals with the way that our cones and our eyes can see. A lot of people are blind, so you may wonder, how do they express their reality if they can't see? What screens of the mind do they have? So all of this goes together in the UFO secret space, because I would like to be a part of a group. It can be women and men. It just happens to be that I chose Janet years ago, or she chose me, and then she's known Karen. And Janet and I met in '93, which I put up on our tonight's show, how we met at the Oahu Hilton Hawaiian Village at a psychic fair, and also at Spiritual World Network at a Sunday tune in. It was a spiritual quest we were both on about the same time, and it's very hard in your soulmates and your soul groups to find each other in this reality. And so I feel like that what we're building now is dealing with what we suggested to each other we may do in this reality at this space and time I call the Ascension Age. So my sole purpose, there's that my time up,
and that's
I will
time.
get to later. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
We're doing a round table.
Bye. Okay.
I'll go on
round table. Next person. Okay, wait 1 second while I get this to stop. Stop. I don't know why it doesn't stop.
That's a pretty sound.
Stop.
Perfect for what
I know,
we do.
but it's irritating when it won't stop. Okay. Your turn.
Well, my turn is I'm going to pick up a little bit on what TJ said about Roswell. Well, Roswell meant a lot to Robert. In fact, he crossed over and left this realm a few months ago in his Roswell T-shirt. And that's what he wanted to do, and talked about it before he left, and then had that experience that I talked about weeks ago. But we went out there and years ago and walked around and tried to examine, and actually we got some energy and some stuff. So that was always been very special to him, and because of that, it's been special to me. I think it has a lot of good information, and I do think that's great. I mean, TJ's had a wonderful experience with all that, and that's fabulous. Mine comes more from within, that I'm contacted and connected. It's more of a feeling, and I see things, and there are lights that come on, which happens to everybody if they let themselves tune in. But there's everything. We're all connected for a reason. It's like Paula Harris wrote a book, Connecting the Dots, and I do believe that all of us are connected. And if you want to call it connected the dots, there's a reason, and it's a bigger matrix. Why? There are many matrix out there, and we are all here doing this because we've been called upon by extraterrestrials to do this. I believe that, and to try to help out, because in the physical plane at this moment, it's been coming to this point for years from what we're experiencing today, but it just finally in the blink of an eye happened. And all of the ancient texts talk about it, from Nostradamus to long before Jesus, and the parts of the Bible. And so we're here now, folks. We're here. And we need to help to try to evolve and awaken and teach people how to ascend, and that all these things aren't crazy. It's just we've been programmed and learned from the way we came in and how we grew up and what we got, that this is pretty crazy and weird and far out. Well, that may be to some people, but there are ways to bring in synchronicities that can confirm the truth in that. And that's why my dear friend Taryn sent me that beautiful little video. I think it's like 10 minutes long of those two little girls telepathically, beautifully telling what a much better job than what I'm doing right now. And I try to post it every few weeks, and hopefully people can listen to it because, people's attention span are not very long now. A lot of people have, a short span because of the trauma of the COVID and the feelings, and it's totally different. So, but I do think that's great, and I may post it in a week or so from here. But I think it's important for us to stay in the moment. And the moment, like the past, present, and future, if you want to look at it like that, is really likened to like a time, like a flat line. I used to tell Dr. Bormy that. He hated to hear the word flat line. Of course, he was a cardiologist. And but I used to say it's likened to a line, and there are different spaces, and we come in from one to the other, if you can imagine, like a circle, and then there's skip a space and another circle. And so those would be like our past lives, because we've had so many, our past theaters, and then when we can either come in or go out as an observer for a time, because time and space is only relevant in this way on the earth plane through the moon, the sun, and the clock that we keep showing the times. And so man has divided that. But outside of the earth reality, the time and space is totally measured differently. And so all of really, when people say past lives, I have a hard time with that, because maybe they're present lives, maybe they're future lives, maybe they were past. If I'm done? Okay, I'm going to pass this on. Pass this on to you.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to get to stop.
That's a great sound.
Stop? No, it doesn't stop. There we go. Okay. My turn. Okay, so I guess I got a little bit distracted. I was watching the clock. So you have a problem with, anyway, I'll have to ask you something about past lives. I remember a lot of my past lives, but I realized that they're just lives. And this past, present, and future, they could be simultaneous. And our need to put it on a linear time frame is just our stuff, right? We try to wrap our mind around reality, existence, what's going on, God, heaven, hell, whatever we're trying to figure out so we can define and catalog and label existence and reality. But what Errol the Great talks about is she calls our species the souls or the spirits that animate form, the is-bees, because we just is, and we is and we want to be. So the desire to come into physical form is what pulls us into form, to have these experiences between birth and death that we called lives. And every single life ever lived in whatever form is critical for the continuum and the evolution of consciousness of all species, all beings. It goes into the Akashic records, it goes into the collective field, and it benefits all. All the lessons learned from each individual benefits everybody. So we're here in this separation modality so we can experience being separate, but we're always connected, we're always one, and we're always all equal. So that, to me, was a very profound lesson to understand, because we seem to, here on the earth, we're locked in hierarchy and patriarchy and, my God's better than your God, and my life is more important, and I'm more important. Or maybe some people are, I'm not as important to you, and so they get into idolizing celebrities, and they're not valuing their own life and their own contributions. And sometimes your contribution could be just being a monk meditating and contemplating. You don't have to be a doobie. We are an is-be. We don't have to be doing things that other people judge us and value us based on what we do. But who are we, and how are we contributing on all levels, not just this physical level of creation and destruction? So for me, as an individual going through existence, contemplating life and trying to figure it out, that's why I research these things. And so on this website, and I invite TJ and Karen and the other people to go, I found an interview I did with Teresa J. Morris back in 2013. So we started broadcasting together in 2012, actually June. This past Sunday was our 8-year anniversary of broadcasting together. And one of the broadcasts that I uncovered was TJ's and Tom, her husband, Tom Morris, and Karen, I think you'll really enjoy it, how they met. And they discovered that they were a modern-day Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They discovered live on air as I was interviewing them. But one of the things that's really critical about Tom and Teresa J. Morris is their connection to the Roswell craft and the story behind the Roswell crash and the Rosetta Stone of the modern UFO era. And so I'm going back in time to 2013 to find this episode, and I want to talk about it. But I don't know. No, we didn't have time to go over it, but maybe TJ would be willing to let me ask her a few questions about that interview, because I listened to it again, part of it last night, and it was just amazing. Okay, I'm going to pass the talking stick to TJ. Take it away. TJ, are you there? Hello? Am I still on air?
Yeah, you're still here.
Hello?
Can you hear me now? I was on mute. I apologize.
Now I can hear you.
I was on mute. Okay. Well, in this reality,
I was talking about
go ahead.
Tom.
Yes.
You and Tom, how you met.
Oh,
Can you tell us your connection with Roswell.
Well, my history in this reality has a lot to do with memories of extraterrestrials taking me and coming and going, but no one wants to believe that in the past history, but we'll start with what I can remember. There was always men in black involved, or people that wore suits, and originally where my brain starts thinking about Tom is the man I was married to was a GS-11 or 13. I don't know because I never saw his paycheck. But I do know that he was high up. He always had a lot of money in his pocket. He wore suits, and he worked for the government. And he got me involved in some FBI cases in Hawaii, and he resented me doing my psychic work, but he seemed to be driven by these men in black to keep me doing it. And so one night in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu, these men in black came and had we had just pulled up for, I don't even know where we were, it doesn't matter. But they cornered him in the bushes and started talking to him. So it had to do with me, but he wouldn't tell me because they wouldn't even let me see him. They stayed in this shadow. But I knew it was official business. But when you work for the government, folks, anything's possible. And I was in personnel and information security at the time. But I had already been briefed with the Central Intelligence Agency when I was called to Washington, D.C., and had my second intake had been May 67 till May 87. I went through 20 years. So the CIA is very deep involved with Roswell and UFOs and Men in Black. And these Men in Black made me feel like I wasn't included. But yet my husband, I kept you know how wives will do. When we went in the house, I was like, what was that about? Who were they? He's like, oh, it's no big deal. It's work, business. He wouldn't tell me, but he finally said, okay, it